What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Raw Reality Media with me, your host, Mr. Work. Today we're here with Miss Hello,
Grace.
Miss Grace. How you doing, Miss Grace?
Some things good, some things bad. So in the middle.
Okay. How old are you?
27.
27. Where you from?
Florida originally.
Florida. So how you end up in Philadelphia from Florida?
From 0 to 13, I lived with my mom's side of the family in Florida. And then from 13 to 19, I lived with my dad's side of the family in Oklahoma. And when I was 19, I worked on a zip line.
Right.
I lived with an aunt of mine, and I saved up all my money. And when I was 19, almost 20, I moved to Philadelphia, and I had enough to pay, first, last deposit, had some money to live off of while I looked for a job.
How was your childhood coming up?
So I lived in a house, like, it was my grandma, my disabled mom, my disabled uncle, and me in the house, and two dogs. So I had a very loving family. So like I had a really happy childhood, and I was supported, and like I've always been loved my whole life, and I never want to take that for granted because I know not everyone comes from like loving and supportive family. So unfortunately for me, a lot of my close family has all passed away. So in my childhood, like I helped take care of my mom and my uncle while my grandma took care of all of us. And my dad was schizophrenic, and he would be like on and off his medication. So like he would be around, and then sometimes he would just like disappear, and no one would know where he went for like months on end. And then he would randomly show up and just like knock on the door, like nobody knew he was coming.
Right.
But like, when he was here, like he was great. Like he was a loving dad. Like I loved my dad. He was, kind and wonderful to me and helped me. He just wasn't around all the time, which was unfortunate. And I wish I got to spend more time with him. But I mean, yeah. Overall, I had a just very loving, very loving and happy childhood.
Right.
I'm just, unfortunately, like all those people are passed away now.
All right. So what led up to drugs?
So in October, 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed. I had my first like crazy delusional episode, and then I was 302'd and like put in a psychiatric hospital, and I was diagnosed with like bipolar schizoaffective, and like I didn't have any symptoms like before 25 and like before then, but before 2 years ago. But like after I had that first episode, then I started getting like hallucinations and like extreme unnecessary paranoia and like hearing voices. And for a while I was trying like psychiatrist medications, and I tried different medications, and like none of them helped, none of them worked for me. And eventually I got like fed up, and I was like I'll try almost anything. And so that's when I started buying these drugs off the street, or like what I could find. And I tried like mushrooms and like MDMA and like ecstasy and Adderall and Xanax. So at one point I was just like trying different things to see how they affected me, to see if I could get like any relief, any like to feel different. And eventually, I found that like the street, like people call it hard, like the street name, or crack cocaine. So smoking it, that's what had an effect on me, and it calmed me down. It like made my hallucinations stop, made me stop being paranoid, and just kept me calm. So that's how I started.
Right.
And I did it for it's August, it's September now. So I just joined a recovery program last month.
Mhm.
So for about like a year, because I started in August last year,
Right.
I was using, and like it's hard. Like it's been hard not to use because like I'm back at the psychiatrist. And I'm still trying new medications, so I'm still trying to find something else, something better that like works for me. And
You say you're trying to find something better than crack?
yeah, like a better yes.
Right. I don't know. Maybe they might got something at the hospital for you. How often? I mean, did you try that?
Like try what?
Get something from the hospital instead of crack.
Or that's one by seeing the psychiatrist.
Right. Right. Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you said you saw one already.
Yeah. I've seen psychiatrists in the past, and like I stopped for a little while, and I've seen that psychiatrist again. Like I go to Pathways to Recovery,
Right.
and like they provide you with a psychiatrist
Right.
who like prescribes medication.
Right.
So I'm still I'm on Valor right now, and I feel like it helps. Like I've had like less delusions
Right.
and like fewer hallucinations or like a longer duration between them, but they haven't completely stopped. So it's helpful, but not 100%. But maybe I need to come to terms with or learn, like maybe I won't ever find something that like 100% works and they stop. Because like hard or like crack like is short lasting. You have to like keep doing it, at least for me.
You said short lasting.
Yeah, short lasting.
So how long does it last once you take a hit?
For me, like one like decent size hit probably lasts me a couple hours, 2-3 hours.
Hours high? That sound like a long time.
I mean, but if you're doing it
Hours.
like every day,
You say a nice size. What would you call like a nice size? Like well, how much would it be? A nice size.
okay, well, first of all, depending where you get, like here in Center City, like they're cheap. Like you get less for your money.
Right.
If you go over to like Allegheny and Kensington, you get a bigger size. Cause like
So
a nick is $5.
so hard in Kensington. That's what we talking about.
You get a better deal over there.
Right. So you get a better deal in Kensington than Center City.
Yeah, I said because you asked me how much it was. Like
Right. So how
Like,
often do you go to Kensington to get it?
like every other day. Well, I used to like for the past month.
Right.
I mean, I've used like twice while I've been in the program.
Right.
So the past like
So you
month,
basically you relapse.
it's like 5 weeks. Yeah, like a week and a half ago
Right.
was like the last time. Yeah, so like I've been in the program for like five weeks,
Right.
and like I'm used to like I was using every single day for like a year.
Right.
So like I know it's still like relapsing, but at least for me, like twice in 1 month is a significant improvement.
Oh, so you only do it twice in a month.
Well, like I've only been in the program for like 5 weeks,
Right.
and like before that I was doing every day, and
Okay.
since I've been in the program, I've used twice.
Oh, that do sound good.
Thank you.
That sound like an improvement. That sound like you working on it, like you trying to do something. It definitely look like you want to get off of it.
Yes, yes, I definitely do. Like there's part of me that wants to quit, and part of me that doesn't want to quit, and like I'm like depending on the day or depending on the time, like one side is stronger than the other, and I'm trying to make the side that wants to quit like the stronger side all the time, and like bolster that and encourage that.
Right.
So I have a lot of like yo-yoing emotions. I know something I'm trying to learn is to not feel like I'm missing out or losing something, like viewing it as a loss that I can't use anymore or I shouldn't use anymore. Like, so to not feel like I'm losing something,
Right.
is like a mental process I'm trying to go through.
All right. What are your biggest challenges?
But mental health, like the biggest challenge is
Yeah,
like
it really, it definitely sound like, to me, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's like trying to like suffer through them,
Right.
and like not use, or eventually say like, screw it, I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna go get something that gives me relief right now.
Right.
So I have to. That's like a continuous fight, like
Right.
inside myself.
Right. All right. Let me ask you this: once this is something I've been thinking about. I've been talking about this for a little while now. When you're using, it's more than you just the high from you using. Now it's a lifestyle. So you get addicted to everything that goes along with the lifestyle. And what I've been saying lately is once you stop using drugs, you gotta have something to supplement the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Do you have like a hobby, or is it any type, what do you want to do with your life once you're not using drugs?
Well, my old apartment, like I just moved to Center City in June, so like 3 or 4 months ago. My old apartment was robbed, and like there's no cameras, so I guess I can't prove it 100%. But I suspect, and I think the person who robbed me was an old drug dealer that I stopped buying from,
Right.
because he was honestly a jerk. So I stopped getting it from him.
Right.
And I think he's the one who robbed me. But you asked me about hobbies. Like I used to have some musical instruments
Right.
that I no longer have anymore. So like playing drums or piano. I was the best ukulele. I was really terrible at piano, but I liked like I was jamming out to like when the Saints go marching in.
Right.
I'd be rocking it, and that's like a beginner song. So I was
Okay.
terrible at it, but I loved to play. And I had a ukulele and some drums.
When you are using, how do you support yourself?
Well, I used to have a job. I used to work stage management for theater, so organizing the light, set, sound, costumes of plays.
Right.
But a couple months ago, the company went under, so I lost the job. And because you're an independent contractor, you don't get unemployment. But so the past 2.5, almost 3 months, my family hasn't been sending me money to support me. So, and I tell, like, I was telling them like some things like a little bit more expensive than they really were.
Right.
So I could like pay rent or pay electricity, but then spend like a little bit on crack. But so I mean, I was supporting myself until a few months ago, and like right now I'm looking for a new job. Theater is hard. Like I'm not union, and it's like hard to get into the union. So I like to get back into it, but I think I'm gonna have to find something more steady quickly, and then get back into theater later. I did have a full-time job. Right now, my family is supporting me, and I would like to get back to being independent and supporting myself, because I don't want to like take too much.
Right.
But
So your family, so they taking care of everything?
yeah.
Wow. You lucky right now.
I always have like never want to take anything for granted. Like
Right.
right now, I only have my sister and a step grandmother. So it's my step grandmother who's like sending me money.
Right.
Uh, she's a fancy lawyer.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I just want to say just never want to take anything for granted. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
All right. So, all right. Let me ask you this.
Oh, you said I was really lucky.
Right. Do you have any words for anybody who's out in the street struggling?
I
Any
mean,
inspiring? Any help? Direction?
I mean, I've been blessed and extremely lucky that I haven't been like I've never been lived out in the streets. Excuse me. Um, but if you're, I'm trying. I mean, I don't have the living on the streets experience.
I hear that. I hear that. But you have the drug use experience.
Yeah, I know. Earlier you were mentioning like the lifestyle.
Right.
I usually with like, well now I'm not, but with like the like little extra money I had to spend on drugs, like I would always like I don't know if you know this term, like it's not just about drugs, but just saying cop like to
Right.
buy. But that's not just about drugs. You'd be like, where'd you cop that shirt?
Yeah.
But like to get.
Yeah.
So I would like I always cop and go, and I usually like smoke by myself. I don't really hang around everyone else.
Right.
So I don't know how much. I try not to get like too deep in the lifestyle, as you were saying, because like I don't want any trouble. I don't want any drama. I've like seen lots of fights between people who I know are either dealers or users or people who are on the streets. Like I see the same people frequently. I don't talk very much with them or spend that much time with them, but familiar faces. So like I try to stay out of it as much as possible.
Right. All right. Last question. You say you go to Kensington, the cop.
Yeah.
Um,
Most of the time, like sometimes you like want it right now, so you might spend something on like
sitting
not a
down
good
here.
deal,
Right.
but you get it quick.
Right.
But
All right. So, what do you think about Kensington since the mayor supposedly had cleaned it up months ago?
okay, well, if that happened, which I didn't hear about it, but there's so I only smoke hard or crack.
Right.
Then there's also like heroin and meth.
Right.
Like around right here and like I guess inner city or like close to the neighborhood, most people smoke crack. In Kensington, like there's smokers, but there's way more like heroin and meth users, and they're everywhere on the street, like everywhere. So like, if any cleaning up happens, it wasn't noticeable in the slightest.
I hear that.
I mean, it's very just heartbreaking and to like see so many people out in the streets.
Right.
And there's like there's very 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 harsh stigmas on the homeless and drug users, and there's like not every homeless person uses drugs, but there's a significant portion of homeless people that do use drugs. And I think many people in the world today are still not very empathetic or spend a lot of time thinking about what drove the person to use drugs in the first place. Because 99% of the time, like I've there's so many just like horrible abuse stories, like histories of really bad neglect and abuse in people's past, and people who didn't have a lot of support, who didn't have a lot of opportunities, and just their very difficult life situations like drove them to use drugs to get relief from their trauma or their like just life difficulties. And people say like everyone has life difficulties, but to be honest, like some of them are worse than others, and some of them are more significant and more dreadful than others. Just straight up. I know everyone has it hard in their own way, but I mean, I've heard some very, very devastating stories from people. So I personally wish that there was just more empathy and care for people, because so many people have the idea that like, oh, you're a drug dealer, or like you're especially a drug user. You're you're so lazy, you're not going to work. And a lot of people, they'll be like, well, I had a hard life and I don't use drugs, so why can't you? And not everybody's life is the same. And that's one thing I really wish we could bolster in the world is
Right.
more empathy and more care for others in their past, and not to just judge them so harshly or think like people think so negatively of the homeless and drug users,
Okay.
and can be straight up mean, just straight up mean. Like,
Right.
because people think like I'm better than you because like I work and I'm not homeless and you're not doing that, and it's a lot of people think like, oh, it's your own fault. When not everyone has the same support, the same opportunities to go to college, to get a job, the same doors open for them. So
True. All right. Well, I definitely enjoyed talking to you.
thank you so much for interviewing
I
me.
hope you enjoy the rest of your. No, what I really hope, I really would love to see you just come to some type of like you get some type. You need more help for your mental health issues.
Yeah,
That's
thank
what
you,
I
thank
say.
you. Thank you.
Please don't stop trying to get help either. You know that
Thank you for the
the
reminder.
street drugs is not the. I know
Yeah.
you say it looked like that's the only way you could go right now, but keep on trying
Yeah, you gotta
to get it the legal
not
way,
give up trying new things. Yeah.
because the way the stuff that they got out here, one of the main things about it, even though it's faster, they don't even know what's in it.
Yeah.
The people that's the guys that you're getting it directly from, they don't know what's in it.
Yeah. I personally, when I was using, would, as much as possible, sometimes they're out or sometimes they're not around, but like for most possible, consistently get from the same person. Like for me, there was one time where I got some that had some fentanyl in it, and I don't know how it works, but I suppose it wasn't that much. Like I ended up being fine. Like I didn't need Narcan or anything, but like, I could definitely tell. Like it affected me differently, like way differently. Like I got dizzy and woozy, and for me, I really just had to lay down and drink and breathe it out and like wait till the wooziness passed, which for me it did, and then I was fine. But it can go way worse, and that is a very serious concern. And that's like my sister. That's one of the things that like she told me. She was really worried about. Like when she thinks about me, like she thinks about me getting a bad dose and like a bad batch and something bad happening to me.
Right.
And I don't want to make my loved ones. I don't want to make, like, especially the few that I have left, like worry about me or stress. So that's another thing that motivates me
Right.
to quit and stay off. Is really, it's really my family. I have my step grandmother, my sister, and I have a girlfriend. And a lot of people, like, people say that you have to, like, stop using for you, like, for yourself. And maybe I was going to say I see where they're coming from. Maybe I don't see where they're coming from, for me personally. But, like, I understand there's merit to that, but for me personally, like, I'm more motivated, excuse me, more motivated by, like, just my like, the family that I have left. And so they don't have to worry about me. Also, like, I either have to tell them that I've used, which feels bad, or keep it hidden and lie about it, which feels worse. So, like, so just, like, not having to, like, tell my sister or my girlfriend that, like, oh, I used today, because I think it's better to let them know. But it still feels bad to do it. So if I don't use, then I don't have to say that.
I hear that.
And they, you know, of course, like, really, really support me quitting.
Right.
They've been very loving and supportive.
That's one thing I learned is family is man. When you got a support system, it's one of the best things you can have in your life. Is a support system.
Number one. Like, I would say I had very good role models and was always loved as a child.
That's what's up.
And completely honestly, I mean, a lot of stories of other users I've heard who completely don't have that.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you can just expect a person to just rise up and be this great success if they were never supported when they were young, they were beat or talked down to, or
I know what you're saying.
they weren't, or maybe they weren't taught good values.
Right.
And I understand that people say, like, once you're an adult, so you should do things for yourself. But if you don't have the good building blocks in your history, like, how can you expect people to be a well-functioning adult?
Absolutely. I know just what you mean. All right. Well, listen. Once again, thank you. I appreciate you. And hopefully everything work out for you. Peace.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.